Hi everybody, I hope you're having a great day. In this video I'm going to be covering Conan the Barbarian. He made his very first appearance in the writings of Robert E. Howard in 1939, and since then many have claimed copyright to the character, although Robert Howard's work would be considered public domain. Conan made his first appearance in Marvel in Conan the Barbarian, issue number 1 in October of 1970. And since then, other publishers have claimed him, such as Dark Horse. But he recently made his return to Marvel on January 2nd of 2019, being rebooted in Conan the Barbarian issue number 1. Now he has many different aliases, but his two most popular are Conan of Cimmeria and King Conan, being the ruler of the land called Aquilonia, although he truly didn't consider himself to be the king of anyone. Conan was a very powerful warrior from ancient days, many of his stories being based around 10,000 BC. He's said to have stood 6 feet 4 inches tall, weighed 265 pounds, and have blue eyes and black hair. And although he was a very fierce and strong-willed man, he had a strong sense of honor and remained loyal to everyone he saw as his comrades and his people. Conan was legendary in his day, having considerable superhuman strength, being able to lift around 12 tons. He also had peak human durability, being able to endure injuries that would incapacitate normal people. This includes his skeleton seeming to be more dense than normal, as well as his immune system being more resilient than normal. He also had unbelievable stamina, being able to stay awake for multiple days at a time and exert himself for long periods of time before showing fatigue. He also had an uncanny speed and agility, especially for a man of his size, and in this regard, many people compared him to a jungle cat. And speaking of cats, since he was raised as a barbarian in the wild, his senses of sight, smell, and hearing were several times more powerful than that of normal people as well. And in addition to all of these physical attributes, he's a savagely powerful fighter, many times using a massive two-handed broadsword, but he would use anything available, also being good at unarmed combat. Conan is a master tactician and strategist, as well as being proficient in multiple languages. And despite his brazen battle style, he's also a master of stealth, being noted as easily sneaking up on forest animals. Now, Conan was actually born on a battlefield. This happened while his father, Corin, and his tribespeople repelled a horde of Vanaheim raiders. These raiders claimed an area in the northwest region of Cimmeria. Like all small boys from Cimmeria, Conan was trained to be a warrior since birth, but he happened to have skills and strength that were far above even the best of his race. Drogon taught the young Conan how to hunt, to hold an axe and blade, and many other things. And he also told him about stories from his youth, speaking of raids into the Hyborian kingdoms and of all the adventures outside of Cimmeria. Conan respected him a lot, and despite him being too old to fight, he was well respected and feared by everyone else of the tribe. When Conan was just 12 years old, during the commemorative feast of the Cimmerians' victory over the Vanir, he was provoked to go into the forest by Brul, who told him it was haunted by the ghost of the Vanir war chief named Ernok the Slayer. But while the young Conan was there, he came across two Vanir scouts, Gurneg and Nero. Although he was just a boy, Conan defeated both of them. He beat Nero by luring him over a frozen lake, and when his foot fell through, Conan took his dagger and killed him. He then turned his sights to Gurneg, luring him into the lair of the Dogar cave bear, which naturally made short work of him. When Conan finally made it back to his village, his fellow people didn't believe him, until he showed them the Vanir dagger. Time then went on, and Conan continued to grow to be the strongest and yet wildest boy of his village, quite often protecting a sickly and eccentric child named Lainan. This is how he learned that occasionally having a gentle spirit wouldn't make him less of a man. He also became good friends with Tim and Garn, who grew to be his friends even into adulthood. They shared quite many adventures and fights together. In his younger years, Conan continued to get training from Drogon all the way up until the time that he died. This was a solemn moment for the barbarian, even accompanying Drogon up into the mountains, where he then walked away and disappeared into the snow. Conan's rite of passage later came during a cold winter, when he was sent into the wooded hills with only a sword and a bearskin. While there, he killed 3 wolves to steal their kill of a deer, and he slept completely covered in snow under a log. Instead of going back to his tribe when he could have, he changed his mind and searched the high hills bordering his home, which happened to be forbidden even to his tribe's greatest warriors. While there, he met 2 great white bears and Ursula the bear priestess. She ended up bringing him to her home and seduced him, later giving birth to his first son, named Conobar. Much later, he went back to his tribe, where the elders had already declared him dead. And once again, his people refused to believe his story until he showed them a brooch that she had given to him. He was then congratulated as a champion by his tribesmen, who vaunted him and took him south with them to attack Venarium, which happened to be an Aquilonian outpost. Now, during this Battle of Venarium is when Conan experienced his baptism of blood, now being considered a full warrior and eager to fight, being the first one over the stockade walls. He fought fiercely, and his efforts ultimately helped lead to the fall of Venarium. Conan then became the preeminent hero of his tribe. From there, Conan went on to have many different adventures, at times acting as a mercenary, treasure hunter, thief, soldier, bounty hunter, nomadic war chief, pirate captain, and gladiator. He was such an epic figure that tales of his exploits preceded him, and although it's naturally assumed that he's dead, funny enough, no record of his death has ever been told. Now, for his powers and abilities, and his influence on the superhero genre in particular, and in Marvel, for my 1 to 10 rating, I'll give Conan the Barbarian a rating of 9, which is an epic rating. I hope everyone enjoyed this video. I'll talk to you next time. Be sure to like and subscribe to The New Sage.